Csongor, also welcome aboard. 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago. It was the ID conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you? Because you're actually just building pretty early in the stage, and then they call you and they ask you, you need to be here. How was it?
Actually, it was really interesting, both personally and also from the business development point of view.
Okay.
We met a lot of companies, and well, fortunately, we already have quite a few that we have a chat with. And it was really interesting to see that these salespeople that I managed to talk to, they understand the problem as sharply as the product people do, because they hear over and over the implications of the problem from their own customers. So the whole GDPR and the bias problems.
Wow. So actually, also the salespeople you talk to, they recognize the issue at hand.
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, and I'm pretty curious. You mentioned you're going to do synthetic pictures.
Yes.
And honestly, I must say, I looked at them, and then I'm like, wait, they're just a bit off. A tiny fraction of like looking at you, for example.
Yes, of course. So our pictures do look impressive, if I can say so myself, or not quite lifelike, right? And and this was a big concern that we had.
Yeah.
So what we did, we went out there and we talked to our clients, and we found out something that we didn't expect at all. They said this is even better. Why? Because this way they know that there's no privacy concern, right? These are not real people, hence we don't need to concern ourselves about GDPR and stuff like that. Plus, if these pictures look like they look and work very well for their solutions, that's all they need.
Okay, that's interesting. For the audience, again, if you have some questions for them, please raise them, but for now, I continue. It seems you're addressing actually a very big problem, right? You mentioned the amount of pictures they need to solve the issue, the amount of time involved. I don't know how much money is involved. What's the market size? How do you look at it?
Well, first of all, our end game, so to say, is to be the global synthetic data provider for all human-centric use cases, for all use cases that have the human at the core, at the center. Identity is, of course, the first step. And although there are not many players out there doing identity, the potential is still huge. You need to think that these companies collect, as we said before, 5 to 10 million pictures per year. And when they buy that from external vendors, every unit is priced between 0.5 and €1. So if you run the math, run the numbers, it's still pretty good market size.
Pretty decent money.
Yeah.
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 Okay, can imagine. Hey, and building such a project, or product you should say, that's quite a hefty thing, I can imagine. A lot of AI is involved, a lot of, let's say, coding is involved. Currently you have a proof of concept, MVP-ish kind of thing, and you have, I believe, your first customer. How do you think your product will evolve, let's say, in the next year or two?
Yeah, well, as you said, it's pretty attack-savvy stuff, I can tell you. Currently what we're doing is basically integrating a lot of different technologies already implemented and already there on the market, more specifically from the gaming industry.
Oh.
And well, we are really close to basically generate the first 20 million pictures. Always have problems with the numbers. And then we can start collecting the real feedbacks from the companies themselves.
Okay.
So
a engine that creates 20 million pictures,
yeah,
by just doing this instead of making 20 million pictures all these guys in front of the camera make, right?
exactly.
Correct.
Wow.
So it's going to be a fully automated system.
Okay, cool. Okay, I see there are no questions from the audience. So that means I want to thank you guys for being here. Just wait
Thank you very much.
so that I can wrap it up. So that means if there is no questions, oh, there is. 2 months seem to be pretty fast,
Yeah.
right? Especially for already having achieved so much. It's again, Holland Startup, it's Iselda.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
what you need to understand, Iselda is working at Holland Startup not so long for now, and she wants to understand what we actually do for the founders. So can you explain the last 2 months, how it was, what did we do for you? It's a very good question from her.
There's a lot that we need to talk about because like 2 months seem very short, but then a lot of things happen right in 2 months. Of course, we first validated that the problem is there, and Holland Startup helped a lot in the process. And then I think if I can try to summarize where the most value is, in my opinion, is that if we had to do this alone, we would have a lot of unknown unknowns, things that we don't know. I think most of the value that I find in Holland Startup is that it makes those unknown unknowns known unknowns. So it tells you, go and check this one out. And then you're not as blindsided as you might be.
That's a good answer. Thank you. Okay, I think with this answer we need to close down.